Good evening, everyone. Does anyone know what is the topic of today's workshop? आज हम क्या डिस्कस करने वाले हैं? आज आपने क्या सोचा है?
Career setback.
Career
Might be the hindrances we face during our as a career counselor.
Oh, it's more about the student and their hindrances and how, as a career counselor, you're going to help the students navigate these hindrances. Okay, so that is going to be our discussion for today. Lovely to see your faces. Some of you are traveling. It is raining, but I hope you make the best of this session. And without any further ado, I will get started with today's discussion. So, as you all know, we are going to discuss about setbacks. Careers में setbacks होते हैं at every stages. Sometimes we plan that we want to do something and it does not go our way. Maybe because we didn't get the seat, maybe the cutoff was too high, maybe this year we just couldn't perform well in the exam, or maybe just the course was too difficult and we didn't anticipate that. So there can be so many reasons that can set our education or career for that matter a little aback. But before I delve into today's discussion, I want to know from you all, did you all ever face any setback in your careers? And if yes, then how did you navigate through it? Just want to know a little bit about you all.
The financial meltdown in 2008, 2009 was a setback for me and also a blessing in disguise because I was in the finance center at that time. And in 2009, when all this happened, I shifted to the education. And started from zero again.
Yes.
So that's been a experience for me.
So your take on the setback was to get into another field, and yes, you faced it resiliently, as our theme of discussion is today. Yes, I can see someone else's mic is also on.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my setback of because of the family and because I was born and brought up in Prayagraj and then I got married in Gwalior. Because of that, because my place is being changed, and then some of the after getting married, then जो issues अपने आप के होते हैं मैम फैमिली वाले उसके चक्कर में मैम थे. These all were my setbacks.
Change of location, and because of course handling a family and a career is very difficult. I
Yes,
understand, but still today you're enrolled with us as a career counselor, so that is again
because ma'am somewhere that zeal is still there, that spark is there to work and to earn for ourselves, for the satisfaction only. It's not about need or anything else. It is just to have my own identity. I just want that. Because of that, I'm again with you people.
Totally, we understand. And we are going to discuss this identity part today as well. I see Archana has also raised her hand. Yes, Archana.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. I'm in the field of education like from 2004. And in the previous school where I was working as a supervisor. Then I felt like I should upgrade my educational skills. So I took a 6 months break from the school and I had applied for a leave. And initially they said, yes, we'll get it sanctioned and approved from the secretary. I said, no matter if it is unpaid and everything. So then afterwards, I went on to complete all my diploma courses, whatever I had enrolled for. And when I came back in the month of June, like they said, your leave wasn't approved and you have not informed us like you were taking a big leave.
I think Archana was trying to communicate how, as a working professional, she was doing well in her career. Whatever she signed up for education, she was doing well. She wanted a 6-month leave, and she could not continue her further career in the same field.
Yeah. Then it was like they said, yes, you join back with us as a teacher and not as a supervisor. Then I said, if I have to join back as a teacher, then why with the same institute? Then I resigned from there and I got my resignation approved first place. And then I stepped out. And then immediately within 2 months, I got the position for a principal in another school. So initially, I was very much feeling like, why did this happen with me and everything? But I said, nothing doing. I have my own skills. I have my talent. And nobody can stop me like. So I applied for 2-3 places, and from the very college from where I had done my diploma, I got a reference like that some school is referring for, looking for a principal and you apply there. So that went on very well. And now the thing is that the distance of the school where I'm going currently, where I'm working currently, it's very far off, and the traffic here in Pune city, it's really like worldwide declared. For this situation, I felt like I should have something wherein I can work from home without losing the connect with the students and my passion for coaching and everything. So I took up this career counseling course. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Rajat has mentioned that facing a setback currently in a last year due to landslides in Himachal. More power to you, Rajat. I hope with today's session I am able to help you understand that what happens when we face setback and how do we, really bounce back from that. Nobody is new to setbacks. We all at some point, even as a career counselor, we ourselves has faced some setbacks, and that has guided us to this path to help others. And that in its essence, I find it really, really beautiful that we are really, y'all are the reason that the topic for this workshop came in my mind, because most of y'all I know are maybe deep into their career, wanting to make a switch, or maybe housewives or working professionals now wanting to move away from their career. So change in career path is normal, and that is what I also want you to convey to the candidates who come to you, right? Deep into their careers, or maybe early on, they don't know what to do, or they don't know that if they're doing whatever they're doing is the right thing. So we are going to explore that all in detail in today's session. Before I, go more into the psychology bit of today's session, because that is what I am getting from your feedback so far, that you want a little psychology oriented workshop. So that is what I'm delivering today. And before I get started with that, I just want to share and remind us not just our stories, but even bigger people in society that we know, bigger names, right? Mr. Ratan Tata, for that matter. When Tata Motors first launched its car, the Indica, it failed commercially. Facing humiliation, he considered selling that car division and just going with Ford. But during negotiation, Ford executive told him that you know nothing about cars. And that triggered him, and you know where Tata is today. He did not merge with Ford. He has bought so many other divisions today, and Tata is a name in vehicles. Likewise, I want you can definitely share such stories with students where when they are really disheartened and coming to you and you're feeling what possibly can I tell the student, right? I want you to draw stories from your own life, or maybe lives of people who have made big names in society, because nobody is new to setbacks. We all face them. Even PT Usha, for that matter, she is known as the queen of Indian track and field, but she lost an Olympic medal by just 100th of a second in 1984. But while many would have quit, she continued competing. She mentored people, and then she's inspiring so many generations of Indian athletes, right? So career does not end at a setback. It's always a new road that we are going to begin. Is the crux of your discussion with the students and in today's session as well. Now, if I have to dig into the psychology of why does career setbacks feel so personal, why do we feel disheartened, what is it about that happens within me when I see a failure, right? Some people, they really bounce back, they go through it, and some people, they're really disheartened by the failure. They don't know what to do, because what happens is work is rarely just your work. Work means a lot of other things. It represents who I am, it represents my skills, my ambition, my social status, who I am, right? Some careers we take pride in saying that I belong to a white collar job. So work is very closely tied with the identity of who you are, right? That is why when setbacks or a failed project for that matter happens, we feel like it's not just a professional judgment, it is a judgment of a person who you are, right? As I'm saying, it is your work identity and your own identity is very entangled. And that is when you face this setback with more intensity. Even for students, they link their identity with their achievements, with their academics, right? When you ask them to tell them more about themselves, they tell you your favorite subjects, what do they like, where do they score amazing in. If there's a child who's really, into competition and sports, they will always tell you that, ma'am, I am into this sport. I recently won this medal. Even parents, when they always describe their students in terms of achievements and progress that they have made as a student. So you see, this is very closely tied with how I see myself. What competitive exam did I crack? Which college I'm studying in? What rank did I get? All of these things are tied with my worth. And when I don't perform according to my worth, I feel inadequate. I feel inappropriate. I feel like I faced a setback. But as a career counselor, I have to keep in mind that this pain that they are feeling in terms of setback is genuine, right? I'm telling you, scientific research that whenever you experience pain in your brain does not know that is it a physical pain or is it an emotional pain. It cannot distinguish between that. So it gives the same signal as you would have cut your leg on the road, how badly it would have felt. And for someone, that career setback can feel exactly the same. Now imagine this person coming and telling you that this is their result. And, some of us may think, okay, we can do this. Maybe because we have gotten seasoned or maybe we have seen so many cases. But as a, counselor grounded in their techniques, in their roots, I want you to remind you that the pain that they're feeling, the setback they're feeling is very much genuine, and always empathize with them before understanding or commenting on anything. Because your career is very tied with your own identity, as I've established so far, and it's very tied with your ego. Ego is nothing but the sense of who I am as a person. So when I see a career setback, I feel that this is a threat to my ego. This is a threat to my identity. And your brain tells that there is a threat. I need to adapt to it. I need to do something about it. When you don't know what to do about it, you may go to a career counselor, you may start a new journey. But when I have learned and I've adapted how to manage this threat, I've moved past it and I become more and more resilient, which is the theme of today's workshop. Yes, is anyone saying anything? Yes, Mr. Sinha. Hello.
In fact, I personally have a different view in my 40 years of my corporate career and 22 years of my education. I have faced about 29 setbacks.
Okay.
And if I had not, I wouldn't have been who I am today. I've been able to do some very, very challenging tasks only because of the confidence I got because of those setbacks. So it's very essential for you. Anybody, if he has to become a man of steel, the person has to go through setbacks.
Right. And I 100% agree with you. There is no point of difference in our opinion. It's just, a sentence has two parts. The first one is of the setback, and the second one is of resilience. I am helping you uncover the depth of a setback as a career counselor. That when you see a student, what is exactly happening in their mind? When you see a working professional upset with their career, that they couldn't go through it, because that for them is a very shocking event. But the beauty of it is when you move past it with resilience, you become the man of steel that just, Mr. Sinha mentioned. So definitely that's the other bit of the exploration that we are going to do today. And the aim of my session is to help you understand how to make the student more and more resilient in this scenario. Another important thing I want to highlight is assess the mindset of the student, right? They may say that I'm bad in maths, that means I'm bad in everything that I'm doing. Or maybe I failed in this exam, that means I'm never going to come up. See what is happening before commenting on anything. That they have tied their identity of or their event of being bad in something with themselves. So as a counselor, first I'm going to bifurcate that identity, for which I'm going to follow a three-step process. First starts with emotional regulation. Second process is of perspective shifting or cognitive restructuring. This is again very established methods in psychology. I'm picking it up from CBT. And the last bit is of action mapping. Yes, I see a hand raised of Mr. Soham.
See,
Yes.
good evening. Solution that you're going to propose to us will be applicable not only for the students, but will it be also applicable for corporate people?
Definitely.
It will be applicable for those also, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because there has been such cases with some of my friends, because of laid down the companies and all. So I just want to know from that perspective also whether this solution which you're proposing is applicable or not. So you're saying it is applicable.
It is. It is applicable for all ages. It is applicable for any sort of setback or sadness for that matter.
Thank you.
I see Angela has also raised her hand.
Yes, I just wanted to know, would we be getting a recording of this or a handout? Because we may not remember the three steps you
These
are
videos
doing it.
are uploaded on YouTube, and I also share the session recording with you.
Okay, okay. So we can go through these processes. Thank you.
Definitely. Don't worry about it. Yes. So the first one I said is emotional regulation. Second one is perspective shifting or cognitive restructuring. And third one is action mapping. Right. So the first one, beginning with emotional regulation, when I'm seeing a student completely panic, right? That my God, what are they going to do? They don't know. Or maybe some sort of stress or a bad exam performance is really dominating my session flow. The first thing I need to do is pause the session right there and help the student emotionally regulate themselves. How am I going to do that? There are two ways to do it. First one is breathing exercise, right? When the student is extremely panicking or their pitch is getting higher and higher as they talk, they're not able to understand what they're talking about. There is a 478 breathing technique. Okay. I want everyone to do this with me, wherein for 4 seconds we are going to inhale, for 7 seconds we are going to pause, and for 8 seconds we are going to exhale. Is everyone with me? Can I get some thumbs up? ठीक है. I want everyone to settle down wherever you are. Listen very closely to my voice. If need be, you can close your eyes and very gently take a deep breath in on count of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Exhale. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more time. Okay. When I start the counting, you inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to give a few seconds for you to make your breathing normal again. So this is a breathing exercise for anyone who is really panicking as they are talking about anything. If you think that they are, completely under the stress, they're not. Yeah, thank you so much. You can do this at least for 1 minute and your nervous system will first of all calm down. To do this with the child, it is very simple. 4 seconds of inhale, 7 seconds of hold, and 8 seconds of exhale. So that's the first technique that you can use. Second one is a grounding technique called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, a lot of numbers here, but this helps, and these are really, widely used techniques. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, if the person is really anxious, you're going to tell him, name 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. Now, preferably keep maybe alpelive or something around you when if you're helping the person go through this, or ask them to at least keep water next to them when you're helping them calm down in this matter. Again, I will revise 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. Yes, I have done this with some of my clients. Yes, it helps emotional in regulation. It's clear for me. I'll just revise again. Thank you everyone for your cooperation. 5 things I can touch. So 5 things I can see, 4 things I can touch, 3 things I can hear, 2 things I
Two
can
things I
smell,
can
and 1
smell.
thing I can taste.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very confusing for me as well. Personally, I have it written around my table whenever I'm doing this, if so that I don't get confused. But the trick is to just Panchbhuta. Yes, Panchbhuta is more of the 5 elements in the nature. Yes, you have to engage with all of the 5 elements, except for fire. I cannot burn myself. But basically, this helps me be more in touch with my senses when the student is feeling emotionally dysregulated. Please don't be like me preparing impromptu. Just write down the notes beforehand and do this exercise. Okay. So these are 2 techniques for emotional grounding. Second one is cognitive restructuring or perspective shifting. For this, I use a catchy phrase called catch the thought and flip the script. Yes, Atri.
Yeah. So Nidhi,
Mhm.
you're talking about counseling a client who is like in sixth or seventh, and the time spent with the counselor is typically 2 hours, 4 hours, max to max 8 hours. Yeah, across different sessions. But
Across different.
yeah, but I know someone very close to me who
Mhm.
has got this feeling that
Mhm.
she can never excel in maths, whatever she does. And
Mhm.
it has now become a trend, every test per
Mhm.
test, the grades are going down. I see that person is putting in a lot of effort, but
Mhm.
still the grade is going down, and she's getting more and more
Mhm.
demotivated. And she
Mhm.
has gone up to that level wherein I can never do well in maths. This is a partiality. I mean, she's a kid, so like some vague thoughts come to their mind.
Mhm.
So she's
Mhm.
like, it's a partiality to me. They, matlab, janbooch ke they set up such papers so that I don't get the marks, which is something,
Oh,
which is something not rational. But I mean, her feeling has gone up to that level that I will never
Mhm.
be able to do well in maths. So how do we tackle this kind of a situation?
Okay. I think the next skill will help you for that. Okay. The next one is cognitive restructuring. Herein, we catch this thought. For example, you gave me that I will never succeed in maths. Before, when this is happening, I sit down with the student and I understand how many times did they not do well in maths. And I help them flip the script of this narration, right? What can be an alternate script according to you, Atri? Like, I'm bad at maths. What can be a more rational side to this, or let's say more realistic side to I am bad at maths?
I'm not getting good grades.
I'm not getting good grades in maths specifically. What? How about other subjects? How are you doing in the other subjects?
Pretty well.
So does that mean that I'm going to be a failure all my life in all the subjects, or does that mean that I need to improve in maths?
Improve in maths, but I don't understand the concepts.
Right, you don't understand the concepts. And the next bit of my session would be helping them understand that where in maths are we having difficulty? Is it with the arithmetic? Is it with the calculations? Am I making mistakes? Is it with understanding the word problem? Am I making mistake? Or is it with the teacher that I don't like her? That is why I'm not being good at maths, right? That is the solution part of it. But first of all, I need to address the voice in my head when I am saying that I failed in this interview and I'm not good enough. Catching the dot and flipping the script would mean that this interview showed me that where do I need to sharpen my skill? What is more realistic according to you? I failed this interview, I'm not good enough, or this interview showed me that I need to sharpen my skill in this particular domain?
I was not a correct fit. I need to maybe hone my skills.
I need to hone my skills. And what specific skills are we talking about? I will ask the child more and more. Where did you do wrong? Like, for example, I know I fumble at times. I have a poor working memory. Do I see myself as a bad career counselor for that? Or do I see that I need to take enough pauses when I speak so that I don't fumble? You see the difference? That how I am equating my worth with my weaknesses or my strengths. I can understand this is still a little vague, but whenever you are targeting a thought, for example, I fail at maths or I am not good in this interview, I want you to see the flip side of it in terms of how this can be more specific and realistic, right? For the two things we focused on this. Okay, what is real? Maths, I failed, not in all subjects. I did bad in this interview because of some certain skill. That is realistic. What would be the unrealistic? I'm a bad person altogether. I'm not going to get hired. I'm not going to do anything well in maths. I'm going to be forever a loser. That is a global evaluation of myself based on something I did very specific. So when I'm flipping the script of that narration, I want to flip it on the other specific side. Not doing well in maths doesn't mean that I am not good enough. She can write a reflection journal or keep a thought book to transform this thought. Exactly. And this is what I'm helping you understand in today's session, that when these thoughts even come up for this session, when they are talking that I am completely a bad student. First of all, I will inquire what does a bad student do and what have I done to be a bad student? And then I will flip my script based on that. I just want to see if everyone is following with me. So I'm going to throw in a sentence. Everyone else got better marks. I'm just not smart enough. What can be another narration for this? How can I flip the script of this sentence? That everyone else got better marks. I'm not just smart enough. What does that say about me?
Everyone was better prepared, but for me.
Right. Everyone was better prepared. I need to hone up my preparation, can be one sentence. Or maybe their success shows what is possible. And even I can get there, right? It is just this exam that I need to focus on. I'm comparing myself with others. Yes, that is one. That's one observation that I will make of the situation. But what is the next sentence that I'm going to say myself? That this is possible. I need to perform better. And the next part of performing better is planning out what is it that we are going to do differently. One more sentence. I didn't make it to the football team. I'm not good enough at sports. How can I revamp this sentence? How can I flip the script of this sentence?
I mean, number one, I would say I think you are being too unfair to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone
As a
has got
counselor.
their own strengths and weaknesses. Maybe you need to work a little bit harder, and you might be in the team again. So sports is something dynamic. You need to perform every day. Not everybody is going to perform every day. So it's your turn. It will come.
Right. That's for
No,
you to say. And if I have to
no
flip
one, no
my
one
own.
can be, no one can be really good in all the sports. So
Mhm.
just that football is not for me.
Yes, maybe football is not for me. Maybe cricket is it for me. Mrs. Vidya Murli has also said a very nice sentence. I couldn't make it this time. Maybe with more preparation, I can try again. I look at the optimistic, the realistic side of things. I can even say this at this tryout gave me a feedback on what I need to train harder. Maybe my footwork is not good enough. Maybe I need to work on my football. But that does not equate myself with who I am as a sports person. Maybe I'm good in other areas which other people don't have in them yet. Let's say for a working professional, let's say my presentation flopped. I'm a terrible communicator. How will you help? How will you re-narrate this sentence? My presentation flopped. I'm a terrible communicator.
I need to improve on my communications,
I need to.
improve on my communication skills.
Okay. Can I say now when my presentation is flopped, I know what I need to improve on. So next time I can make a better presentation or I can improve on my communication. One more sentence.
Can
Now I at least know what not to do. Yes, that can also be one way to look at it. Yes, Mr. Nitish.
So, at least you got the guts to go and stand in front of that many people and give your presentation. Yeah, but
Yes.
the other skill needs to be improved. The first skill you have already overpowered. Now there's the next skill to be accomplished.
Definitely, that is also one way of looking at things. That I have done the first half of my homework, that I stood in front of so many people. And now the other part is to improve that skill of communication. I have found gray areas in my communication and I can work on those areas and be better next time. Definitely. First of all, when such thoughts rise up, my first question to this thought is, are you true? And how are you helping me? When I say I lost my job, my career is over, is this thought helping me in any way? Can this narration help me to say that my career is over? Does losing a job means end of career? Is this thought true?
No.
So how can I reframe this thought?
I have a better opportunity than this.
Okay. What if the student says, I don't have an opportunity right now? Or what if the person says, I don't have an opportunity? It may begin another career. Yes. God must have better plans. I would personally be very wary before I say God have better plans because not everyone may believe in God. So over there, it can be a tricky ground before relying on religion. I have been blessed with an opportunity to try out something very different. Amazing, Mr. Rajat. That's a very nice take that this is end of a job, but also an opportunity for me to explore a job where I can do better. That's where the story ended, and that's the other end from where I'm picking up. Right, this is an opportunity for me to explore a direction I wouldn't have considered otherwise. Next path is waiting for me. Look inward to find out what else can I do. Right? Definitely. And there were so many skills that so many tools that we even discussed for confused people when they don't know where to get started. So maybe we can pick up from there. So that way you can use these different things in your session and re-narrate clients' setback into a more positive and a realistic one. Right? I don't want to give a rosy picture to the person also. I don't want to say now you're going to do amazing. I don't know if you're going to do amazing. What is it that you did not so well last time? But I definitely know that if you lost this job, there is a different job waiting for you. And that is more real. Everything happens for a good reason, okay? I also see Kritika's hand raised.
So I had one thing, the approach that you're talking about right now. So
Yeah.
if, say, for example, a person says, let's say a working professional says,
Hmm.
because I have seen these cases. In professional says that, okay, I want to leave my job, I want to do something different. The pay, like if now after experience I again switch my career, I will get a low package and everything. I have to start again. So many working professionals specifically are not willing to take that step because the pay parity comes, and of course they
Hmm.
have other things to take care of. And
Definitely.
when we start as a graduate or something, that time it's a different scenario. But someone in their 30s or something who wants to change is a very different scenario. So how do you then take that approach of this cognitive, the thought patterns that you're saying? Like how to flip that?
Right. So this is not a faulty thinking. This is a true event, right? What I'm telling you about this works when my thoughts are wrong. When my thoughts are not serving me, they are not true. To say that I'm not, my career is over or I'm forever going to be bad in something is a magnification of an event, and that is untrue. This is in my control. But if I have to say that definitely the pay scale is not going to be up to my mark, that is a very real event. That is a social level thing that we are talking about. And in this case, my first approach is to upskill the client in which form of thing they can earn more. Otherwise, it is very difficult to, job hunt, because there are just millions and millions of people applying for jobs, and there's just the pay scale is not up to the amount of work that we do. So this is more of a social level thing. In this situation as well, when I have first addressed my client's emotion, that I understand how you're feeling and I've regulated them, I've calmed them down, I've validated their feelings. The next bit is more going to be solution focused. There, their thoughts are not wrong. What if the candidate feels that all roads are blocked? How can he come back as he is down both emotionally and mentally, as the candidate going down with depression? So, if you know clearly if it is a case of depression, I would suggest that you refer the case to a clinical psychologist, help them find accurate person and accurate help. We've not been trained into helping people with depression. People do face depression, students do face anxiety. But if you think this is the situation, then I have to work in conjunction with a professional who is trained in dealing with these things. Right? What I'm teaching you right now is that a surface level thing of what clinical psychologists do much, much, much in depth. You can definitely read up on it and get to know more about it. But if you know clearly if this is a case of depression, I suggest you refer to the right person who is eligible to handle the case. And if they are feeling emotionally and mentally also unwell, first of all, in the first session, I will see that how much the client is able to manage. Are they going able to come to the session? Are they disheartened? Or they're completely not wanting to do anything and they're just wanting to drop out of a career. If I see that they're completely then they're they're not even eating, they're coming dysregulated to me, they're not even combing their hair, they're just coming up to the session and they look like a mess to me, then clinical psychologist or a helpline number will be my first go to. But if I feel that there's just disheartened, then I can use this technique of cognitive restructuring with them. Right, at a surface level, the candidate must believe that there are ways to come out of the situation and follow those to see the results in the long run, especially for those who are not depressed. Yes, this is what you're going to help them with, right? Resilience building. That this is one way of looking at things, but I have another narrative for you. For people who are also still, not getting it, maybe one more sentence can help you. Let's say I'm stuck in the same role for years. My career is stagnant. How else can I look at it? I just gave you a clue while discussing with Kritika, but how would you re-narrate this thought of mine? I am stuck in the same role for years. My career is stagnant. If my career is stagnant, then what did I say? I have to upskill. And then I can also frame this thought as this is my signal to upskill and explore new career paths more proactively. That can be one way of looking at things. Why I am making this more optimistic for people is because, first of all, I have to reduce the pain. As I begin with the premise of this session today, that pain is psychologically associated with actual pain areas. When I feel body pain in my leg or my hand, how my brain takes it, that level of pain is also felt when I feel this emotional dysregulation, when I see that I am stuck, I can't do anything, then that pain becomes more and more real. But I cannot go and give shock to their brain and bring back their happy hormones. So what I have to do is to reframe their thoughts in a way which helps them at least think outside of the problem or think ahead and beyond the problem. Yes, Kritika.
Okay, so Nidhi, see, or like you said, we reframe and we say it, and even
Mhm.
let's say we say to upscale. The thing is that even if the client says, okay, I have no problem in upscaling, but the fact in today's scenario, even in job thing, it is that even if you upskill anything, till the time you don't have that experience, not good pay. So someone with a good experience when switches the job, even after upskilling or something, has to start from the ground level with the pay parity I'm talking. I mean, I have seen people in the working profession that is one of the major reasons that they lack of taking switch or that thing because they have other errands to also look after. So how to tackle these kind of real problem situation if the working professionals say these kind of.
So, Kritika, let me address it very honestly and realistic. As I said before, that this is a systemic issue. That in our society, this is a thing which is not set up at a, at an institutional level. This is not tackled. That we are not valuing the person's previous pay and we are giving them a lesser pay when they are switching jobs. My personal approach in such situation is to switch, into something of freelancing sorts. Then that is why a lot of people are doing startups nowadays, because when I am starting with my own career, when I'm doing my own thing, I don't nobody is paying me, then I look after my own skills and get skills which are required in the market, get expertise which is required in the market, and deliver it by yourself. Then that becomes a way of my income between when I'm upskilling, right? That is a more solution focused approach here. But from where you are coming, first of all, I need to help the client understand that what they're feeling is very real and very true. But we will have to compromise our to some, people do compromise their sleeps and work tirelessly, double careers to get past that paycheck so that they can make a good living for their family. But yes, you were saying something.
Yeah, no, this is what mainly, I have seen these kind of things, I've heard a lot. So, how to tackle that, I wanted to know. So, yeah, this was something helpful. Thank you.
I'm thankful that I could help.
Maybe I wanted to add something over here. So the person understands that he is stuck. He knows he needs to upskill, but
Mhm.
he is not able to figure out whether he should do a PMP certification or an AI course. If
Mhm.
AI, which course he should be going forward to.
Mhm.
So how can we help with that kind of a decision making?
That is where your psychometric test will come to picture. So area where we don't know where to guide them, that is where psychometric tests are meant for. That baseline to, okay, now where to explore. Moving on to the third part, that is action mapping, right? When I have done the emotionally, I've calmed down myself, right? Regulated that. Now I worked on my thoughts. I made them more realistic. I made them a little optimistic. And the third part is of solution, because solution ke bina to how will we go ahead? Right? So when we face big challenges, as I said before, we get into all or none thinking कि ये नहीं हो पाएगा या I have just done with this. This is never going to get better. I am going to first narrow it down, make it specific, and the next step in action mapping, I'm going to focus on what are the next 2 to 3 steps. Okay, 2 to 3 steps, just 2 to 3 steps that I need to take in order to make this situation better for myself. So Atri, you gave me example of a student who's not doing well in math and she's equating her worth with her. So what should be 2 steps that she should be taking according to you? Next 2 steps, what comes to your mind?
Practice on a daily basis
Okay.
and not to get bothered if the grades are less in maths because she's doing pretty well in other subjects.
See, not to do well is something which is a very strong thing which is going to come down slowly, slowly, slowly. I cannot say that try not to equate it. We can say what is her best, but we don't say that what you cannot do in terms of saying that maths के बारे में मैं नहीं सोचूं. वो तो they will say कि मैम ऐसे कैसे मैं नहीं सोचूंगी. Maths तो important है ही. Maths is such an important subject. So first bit you were good that I practice on daily basis. Second bit can be that I sit with someone when I don't understand a sum. I don't do it by myself because when I'll be doing it by myself, I'm going to find it more and more difficult when I get roadblocks, right? Maths is such a thing where you get stuck. You get stuck. You need someone helping you out, telling how can you do better or what is it that you made mistake at. So finding support and doing consistent practice. So that can be next to actionable step for the student. So I see a couple of hand raised. Yes, Pankaj.
And you said very right.
Mhm.
She should sit with her maths teacher
Mhm.
and try to understand because the teacher is the best person for anybody in this kind of situation, who can help her and actually figure out where is the problem lies. And when teacher and student sit together, the student will feel more comfortable when teacher will figure out as an expert, as a a mentor. So you said very right. She should sit with her teacher only and try to understand. That will make her more confident and more positive.
Yes. Mihul is asking me, are there any other tools available apart from psychometric test to guide working professionals? Psychometric test gives me a direction first. And then the second thing, if I have to keep in mind, if not, I'm not considering psychometric test is, then what are the areas I already do well in? Strength SWOT analysis of any situation, right? Have you all heard of SWOT analysis? Anyone?
Yeah, strength, weakness,
Opportunity
opportunity,
and
and techniques, I guess.
threats. Threat. What are your
Threats,
threats in
threats, threats. Yeah.
ये so फिर आप वो सिचुएशन का स्वॉट एनालिसिस करके आगे बढ़ सकते हो कि विच इंडस्ट्रीज आई कैन गेट इनटू और विच इंडस्ट्री आई एम ऑलरेडी वर्किंग इन जिसका आई डोंट फील सो श्योर अबाउट व्हाट वर माय स्ट्रेंथ्स इन दिस इंडस्ट्री व्हाट वाज माय वीकनेसेस what opportunities and what threats, right? So SWOT analysis, it's a well known technique, so you can exercise that. Yes, Mr. Sinha.
One of the ways, we have been attending to problems or have been told is you divide it into the smallest possible parts and half of it is solved. Now, in this case, the student has not done well in maths. So the first thing is he or she attentive in class? Is
Yes.
he or she giving enough time after class or working? And if he or she has any problem understanding that the class is moving very fast. Now, if all these three, there are solutions. You can have evening classes, you can put more time, you understand, and if nothing works, then you try and work a career of educational session where you move from science to arts. I have seen many people who have electives for the IAS, and after taking 2 attempts, they found that they are not scoring good in history. They switched subjects and did very well the next time.
Exactly, as you pointed out with your wisdom, that we need to break down things in, first of all, smaller goals, and that is where half of the work is done, right? If a student says, I didn't get into my preferred college, my next three steps of breaking it down is, okay, I have restructured it. Then this first restructuring will be that this opens my opportunity to other colleges which I haven't preferred so far or which I haven't looked into so far. So that is where I will re-narrate my thought. Second step of making it more actionable is researching alternative college which are available, programs which I can get enrolled into, finding an online course or a mentor who can help me or guide me better, or maybe staying in touch with a friend or someone who's already gotten into the college that I wanted to. So we back in my days we had this thing that SNDT was the gold standard for getting into psychology. So for one of my friends who didn't get into SNDT, she would always stay in touch with her other batchmates who got into SNDT and would get their notes and would learn from them. And every weekly basis they would meet, they would discuss what a student taught, what are the new things, and that way she never went away from what was happening in SNDT. So you don't need to be there, but you need to be definitely opportunistic in looking at how you're going to approach things. And if if they want to, they're really bent on taking that particular college itself, then the other one can be plan again for that college to take up the entrance exam. How are you going to prepare for the entrance exam if this is something that you missed it by? So how I'm looking at our approach, I have to first break down what is possible for me. What is possible for me? Search other colleges, ask a mentor to help me, or maybe plan out for that exam again. Let's say the student is telling me that I cannot manage time during my exams. That is why I'm not doing well in it. So how will you help the student? What should be the steps for this student? If they are not able to manage time during their exams, what should be the actionable 2 steps or 3 steps for the student?
And first of all, he should look into like where he is spending time, means how he allocated time to all the activities, whatever he is doing in 24 hours. And means if he is taking out time for his any of the interesting thing where he is interested in, and then we can cut short that time. I am not telling that bacha should not watch TV or going for playing. He should cut short some time portion of time, and then he can indulge in, means matlab perform better.
Right. So first step of identifying where is it my time going that I'm not able to focus on something as important as my exam. Right. When I have found those areas, then I see how much time I'm investing into them, and I have cut down those time and better manage or better give time to my studying. And I see Mrs. Vidya Murli has pointed out Pomodoro techniques. So Pomodoro, if since you have said this, it's a very helpful technique while students to study. It involves 20 to 25 minutes of intense focus where you're not doing anything but just studying, and 5 minutes of break. You do this again, 20, 25 minutes of studying, 5 minutes of break. Do this again, 20, 25 minutes of 5 minutes of break. And by the third session that you're doing, you take at least a 10 to 15 minutes break. Then I can also see should restructuring priorities is also going to work well. First, we should understand his approach, how she attempts the question. Probably he gets stuck on one question. Yes, that can also be noted down that what is it that are they being focused only on one subject that they are not doing well in? Is their time being dragged there? And that can also be one area of exploration. I see Atri's hand is raised.
One more trick could be managing the time while you have sit down to take the exam. So it's always advisable to go through the questions once or
Mhm.
twice,
Mhm.
and whichever questions you are confident about,
Mhm.
the student should try to solve those first,
Mhm.
because then that much amount of marks is secured, and then he or she should go to attempt the less confident ones.
If this was the situation during exam, let's say I have a 3 hour paper and I'm not able to manage my time during exam, good take is to go through the whole paper once or twice, as you said, and then start with what you already know so that you cover the areas at least that you're well read of. And second thing you can do in this situation is also something called as time blocking. Now, what is time blocking? I give only a certain amount of time to one answer. Many people go towards graduation, masters. Subjects become more and more, writing heavy, wherein you have to write long answers. So let's say you have to write 4 answers for 60 marks, right? I don't give more than half an hour to one answer. Wherever I am, I'll let it be. I'll go and I'll attempt the next answer. In the case that student knows the answers but is not able to manage the time. So half an hour only for one answer, half an hour only for the other answer, half an hour for the rest of likewise 2 answers. And that makes my 4 answers in 2 hours I am able to complete. Or if 3 hours, then I can give more time. If the situation is that this person, if a working professional is saying that I was rejected from a job application, how will I break down? Let's say the cognitive restructuring is done. How will I break down goals for this person? They're coming and telling you, ma'am, I'm being rejected from everywhere I'm applying. What do I do? So, what can we do as a career counselor?
So, what is the root cause of the rejection? Is it he's not able to communicate, or his resume is a problem? Whatever he has written down is not conveying his story,
Mhm.
or there are areas of upskilling required, or maybe he's not applying for the correct positions which are suitable for him.
Absolutely. Understand the why of rejection, right? When the person is coming to me saying that, ma'am, I have applied so many places, I'm just not getting any job, help them revisit the specific areas of improvement, right? My first approach is show me your resume, right? If the resume is not up to the mark, then resume revision becomes the priority. Then, if the resume is also good enough, then I see into that what positions are you applying for? Is it relevant to the industry that you have skills in? Secondly, I gauge that. And thirdly, how are they applying? I can also look into that are they applying for roles in big MNCs, which are not definitely going to be very, very competitive? Or are they, applying strategically that some places you can divide it A, B, C. A is the best company that you can get, B is okay, you don't mind, and C is okay, just can work around with it. And I spread my application across all of these three industries. There are cases where you can't find the actual why. Then what? That means you've not done enough digging. You have to do enough digging to understand कि क्यों reject हो रहा है उसका application. Maybe the person is not doing well in the interview. So ये आपको पूरा thorough inquiry करके you will have to plan out these actionable steps. Communication skills can also be one area that maybe this person does not know how to communicate well during the job interview, and that is why they are facing issues there. So then the goal becomes to enhance their communication skills. I would ideally give out a book to them that you can read this book and how to improve your communication skills, and maybe get yourself enrolled in a program which helps you hone your communication skills better. Okay, so that brings me towards the end of today's workshop. I want you all to have this resilient mindset for yourself, as you all have kept it so far in your careers. And even for students, help them understand that setbacks are not full stops, they're just commas to keep going. And this resilient building, what we are doing, it's a muscle. It's going to be there with them for a longer time. When you build good resilience in them, they don't have to come back to you again and again. This is going to stay with them in face of every setback. Yet, and every no that they are facing is going to redirect them to a yes, which is waiting for them. So thank you so much everyone for joining in, and I hope to see you all around in sessions and workshops. Till then, take care. Bye bye.